So, here is a really interesting question to ask yourself, especially if you're somebody who has endured difficulties in your life and you have been on a healing journey. If you had a chance to go back and do it all over again, would you? Interesting question. Now, this is a question that I typically will ask people to just gauge and see where they're at on their healing, because it'll tell me a lot. Their answer will tell me a lot about where it is that they're at. And it might seem like most people would just jump in and say, no way, not a chance in hell would I ever go back and do that. But that tells me a lot about whether or not you have really healed, or whether you still have a ways to go in your journey. Because quite often, those who have walked a path of difficulty throughout their life and have reached a point in their life where they have uncovered the deeper essence of who they are, and they've now come into touch with that, and they're leading lives that prove that, will always look back on their life and understand why it is that they've gone through what they've gone through, no matter what it was. They're not victims anymore. They don't look back at their circumstances and see themselves as victims of circumstances, but rather they understand that every step in the journey is a process of evolution, and especially that comes through in our relationships with other people. They're some of the most difficult, but also some of the most significant ways that we evolve as humans. For example, I have always been completely finished when I'm done with a relationship. I've never felt the need to ever continue or fix it or go back. But the last relationship that I had, that I left, I ended up going back for about a period of a year and a half, and we didn't live together. However, we were trying to work things out. Now, this went against everything that I typically and usually would do. Why? Because I still had something I needed to learn, and that could only be done through this person. And now when I look back, given where I am today on my healing journey, when I look back, I understand the significance of why it is that I needed to spend that last year and a half with a person, so that I could see something about myself that would be significant in who it was that I was to become moving forward. Because if I didn't learn what I needed to learn while I was staying in that relationship, then the chances are I would have left that relationship and jumped into another one with someone who had very similar traits, and found myself once again into a karmic circle. But this time I recognized that there was no way I wanted to experience that again. And that meant that I had to understand those things about myself that led me there, so that I could break that cycle. Now, do I regret that? Not a chance. I'm grateful. I'm grateful because the experience uncovered the deeper aspect of who it is that I really, truly am. And that would not have happened had I not had a difficult relationship. And so when you really leave that victimhood behind, when you really choose to see the reasons why life is the way life is sometimes, you understand that it's not here to be your friend. It's here to help you evolve and grow as a human. And the best way that we have that done is through the relationships that we have with one another. They are a huge teaching ground for us. Now, I'll hear people often say things like, I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for what I went through. But what I think you really mean to say is that the experiences that you had uncovered the person that you have always been. Because it doesn't make you into something. It helps you undo what you are not, so that you can reconnect with the person that you have always been. The person who we are not is the person that quite often we are self-identified with. It's the person, the false identity of who we are. And when we learn who we truly are through our experiences, because that's what happens. Our suffering often leads to us uncovering the deeper essence of who we are. Then all of a sudden we reconnect with the person that we have always been. And when you get to that point in your life, when you reconnect with the person that you've always been, I'm telling you, your experiences in life make sense because you're looking at them through a renewed sense of understanding. Something that we quite often can't do if we are still not a healed version of ourselves. So just something to really chew on and think about, especially when it comes to where you may be in your own healing journey. Much love and light.